Hey, good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Fueled Life podcast. And we are talking today a continuation about the metabolic health and about metabolism. And I'm joined with my co-host Charlie Collins. Charlie, good morning, and I'm excited about this continued conversation that we're having, my friend.
Yes, me too. And you're probably wondering, isn't Christmas a month ago or so? Yes, but this is a lovely Icelandic sweater that my mom knitted for me about 35 years ago. And it's freezing here in Connecticut. So I thought it would be a great day to wear this in memory of all the hard work and how my mom liked to keep us warm.
Yeah, and that's something else that when we talk about metabolic health and increasing our metabolism, it is the ability to interject little things. And I can only imagine, I've had some people mention the challenge that it is at the beginning of the year, and they really anticipated some big event. Well, then life happens and weather happens. And so when you set those goals to get out and it's minus 12 degrees, it's a little bit more of a challenge for you to follow through with that. And that's where the discouragement, I think, comes in, and the whole thing about weight loss and calorie counting and making it to the gym and doing those external activities, and also making better choices, because now we're getting that kind of mindset or that mind sludge that has collected over the holidays with all the junk food that we've had available. And maybe there were some leftovers or something that, some of those cookies that were put in the freezer for a later date, that you broke out. And then you might need a little ice cream to go with that. And you say, I'll start again tomorrow. Has that ever happened to you, Charlie?
I'm still stuck on the cookies in the freezer. I've never done that, but now I know I can. Have I ever done that? Yes. Yes, that's an ongoing battle.
It is.
Stanley, it's like, it's cold out, right? And we don't like being cold. Okay. But our bodies are meant to have some cold, hit it. And I'm like, we want to be comfortable, right? Ease and comfort. It's like the messaging out there. Stay in, have this bar, this cookie, this type of warm drink that's loaded with sugar. Do all this stuff so you don't have to bear the cold or the ice or the snow, and, live a life of no challenge. And stay protected, stay in. But what did people do before we had those people on TV telling us to get sick? It was very uncomfortable. I got a guide dog. I mean, a rescue dog. And, he's got some issues, prey drive, which means he wants to go after anything that moves and like launch at it. He is very left and right all over, very hard to walk. Okay, he isn't anymore. But I remember taking him out. I'm like, my last dog, I had an electric fence. And if I didn't even have the collar on him, he just stayed in, he learned his surroundings and he didn't break the law. And this dog, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do it. So it was very uncomfortable. Oh, did I make the wrong choice? And what does this have to do with metabolic? I'm getting to. So, and I'm questioning, and I'm like, oh God, I have to go walk him again. And it's raining and it's cold, but I made a commitment. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go do everything in my power to serve this dog, to give him a good home, and to help connect him to me and to our home environment, and give him the life he deserves. And train, read and train. But it was uncomfortable, Stanley. It was cold. It was slippery at times. It was challenging with him, and not losing my temper and sitting down, not me sitting, but making him sit, give him a cookie, and working. Oh, he's not with me right now, but because he might bark, but and working with him. And that's what, and guess what? I have been doing it now since November,
Mhm.
and it's a habit. Every day, going out with him in the snow. And it doesn't matter the weather. There's no excuse. So that uncomfortable, did I make what is, I don't want to do this. I'll take them tomorrow. I'll do this tomorrow. I stuck to it. And now it's become easier because it's no longer uncomfortable. I look forward to it. I know the joy it brings him. We're creating a better relationship. He's walking better. He's staying next to me. He's not going after everything out there. And I believe that's one of the things, and I'll talk more about it, but does that kind of resonate?
Yeah, it did, and that's just it. So there's times when you can feel like your energy falls flat. And as you're walking your dog and it's not going the way that you hoped it had in the very beginning, it is that consistency. It is making that effort and say, you know what, maybe yesterday wasn't as good of an experience as what I anticipated. And this can happen with our body. You can, here's the thing. One of the suggestions that I'm going to give you is don't look at data. I'm going to give you this. Don't look at data unless you want to change. And here's where I'm going with this. Don't get on the scale if you don't think you're going to like what you see and you don't want to change the behaviors that you've had. And as you begin to change those behaviors, then go to the scale. As you begin to say, you know what? I'm not just going to count calories. I'm going to count what kind of calories I'm bringing in. Because here again, it's not about willpower. And the scale will not give you an infusion of willpower. It absolutely will not for the majority of people. Because here we are at the beginning of the year and we're wanting to make better choices. And then we're going to something that's going to tell us maybe our lack of success or the gain of success that we actually had anticipated. We often anticipate that we're going to do better than what we do in a short period of time, and we underestimate what we do well over a long period of time. So one of the things that I tell my clients, stay off the scale for 2 weeks. If we're working on a habit tracker, we're working on monitoring and measuring the food that we're eating. If we're monitoring the water that we're intaking, put the scale into a closet and don't get it out for 2 weeks. And as you begin to make these minor adjustments, see, we look at the scale and it gives us right now time, real time response, but we don't see what's underlying that's actually taking root. And when we implement practices that give us the long-term result that we're after, we're actually making success on the inside. And it's what's happening on the inside that doesn't reveal itself on the outside for a period of time. So maybe you're in this third week of January 2025 and you feel like you've blown it and you feel like your willpower is just shot. It's not willpower. It's metabolic imbalance. And that's what it comes down to. So it's not about your vanity. It's not about a fad diet. It's not about exhausting exercise routine. It's about implementing little things, just like Charlie said, when it comes to the dog, and that there's certain things that will set you up for success. So that's what I took and how I correlated, this whole metabolic talk and what we're doing and the success that we want to get. And here again, it's about starting a revolution within your own life.
That's right. So back to the dog story. I'm just kidding. But so change, right? Change. So what is metabolic? Well, maybe 54 million Americans have arthritis, of osteo, whatever, arthritis, right? And, they're told that it's an age thing. I mean, it happens. It's wear and tear on the body. Some truth in there. It could be you carried extra weight for a long time, but you finally got rid of it, but it put a stress on your joints. Could be part of the problem. Yeah. Could be that you worked out in CrossFit a little too long with a bad coach. Okay. Could be an injury, right? Could be an injury that you didn't get the proper care for. That's just continuing to bother you. But really what they're now finding out that there's tendons and all the things that move our joints are all taking blood, and it's a metabolical thing. It's that if your joints are sore, you're not sleeping that well, you're tired in the afternoon, this is a metabolic thing. It isn't all different things. And the scary thing about our medical community is if I got joint pain in my feet, down in my ankles and all in my legs, they'll send me to that specialist. And then if I'm not sleeping well, I'll go to that specialist. And then if I've got arthritis, I'll go to that specialist. When I really need a metabolic, holistic type of approach that'll solve all that. Now, that's a lot to swallow for somebody that sticks in the medical model. Like, I go here to get help because that's what you do. So you're not doing anything wrong. But they're going to most likely, now they know differently that what helps. I remember, I'm almost 58. I don't think anything. Oh, yeah. My right ankle hurts a little, but I slipped yesterday on the ice walking the dog. Oh, yeah. And caught myself.
Well, we can talk about balance later. And, it is the ability to go out and do the things that you're able to do and not get winded. And, no matter where you're at, and when I say get winded, like just constantly panting, constantly not having the energy to do the things that you want to do, that's a metabolic flag. So you can see these indicators, like you mentioned, the sleep, the chronic fatigue, the chronic aches. There's a metabolic issue that's going on. And when we get our metabolism right, when we get our body processing and creating the nutrients, and we're not in that fight or flight, that sympathetic nervous system, our entire body works better. We breathe better. Our circulation is better. Our sleep is enhanced, and we're able to process food. Now, here's the other thing. When I say processed food, there's something that we want to eliminate is processed foods. We want to allow our body to process the food that we eat, but we don't want to be eating processed foods. So that's one area that we can implement to have improvement over our overall experience.
And here you were talking about willpower and all that. So I'm uncomfortable. Okay, maybe not me, but people I work with and all. I'm uncomfortable. I'm a little draggy in the morning. My joints hurt. I didn't get a good night of sleep, but I put it together and I go out and do my best that day. And I'm kind of shot when I get home. I don't want to do much. I don't have much drive like I used to. Just, life's getting tougher, and that's uncomfortable, right? That's an uncomfortable feeling, and that's messing with your thinking. That's messing with your physical, your spiritual, your whatever it is. So I want to change that. And you said we're 3 weeks in. So people came up to the end of December and said, I'm done.
Right.
Makes sense. I want to do something about this. Absolutely. I stood on the scale. I looked at gym memberships. I talked about it, and I'm ready. I'm finally ready. But Stanley, it's uncomfortable, that life. So I'm going to do the things because I want more comfort, more ease in my life. But the change is uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm living with uncomfortable, and I'm making a change that's even more uncomfortable because it's a new uncomfortable. Right. I'm used to the old uncomfortable. Now I'm introducing a new uncomfortable, and I'm battling that. This is hard. So I try. And then all of a sudden my old uncomfortable wins out again, and I fall back. And we've gotten so used to everyone telling us, live a comfortable life. No, become uncomfortable and get used to it, because you'll never change. You will not get better if you don't accept the fact it's going to be uncomfortable, but not forever. Yeah. It will not be that way. Just like I was telling the dog story. It was very uncomfortable. I was nervous. I didn't like it. I didn't, I took on too much. What was I thinking? I don't have that story anymore, Stanley. It went from uncomfortable to discipline to doing to comfortable. Now I look forward to it. I look forward to getting a good night's sleep. And I just want to share. Somebody had said to me recently, I was working with, said, I'm not really here today, or I'm not fully in. And I said, why is that? I didn't get a good night's sleep. And I said, why? Well, I don't know. I just don't get them sometimes. Okay. Are you open to me asking you some questions about that? Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. All right. What'd you eat that day? A little high, ultra processed bar in the afternoon. I had a coffee at 4:30, but it was one of those frilly Starbucks junky things. Sorry, Starbucks, but that's what it is. And so I learned throughout. And then what'd you do the day before that? So let's pile up the 2 days.
Right.
And the stress that you didn't clean up. Did you did you do a meditation in the morning? Were you kind and loving towards all day? Okay, maybe you don't have to be perfect, but and before you went to bed, did you look through your day and plan your next day, or did you go to bed with some noise in your mind that you couldn't shut down? And so now, do you know why you didn't sleep well? Wow. I just asked questions. I didn't give the answers. I said, now list those things and now turn that around. Start eating a little more whole foods. Get back on track, because the person was. And it's like, oh, okay, it'll be a little uncomfortable at first. You got to change a few things. But I can guarantee it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes, maybe 6, to fall asleep. And then, check that REM in the morning.
Yeah, that's it. You can't measure what you don't monitor. And we have a terrible memory, because I'll ask people, how much water did you drink today? Or, how did you start your day? And they will say they don't remember. And, was it with water or was it with some other beverage? And when you begin to tabulate what it is that you're bringing in, and the thing of it is, one of the misconceptions, and I really see this a lot, and I've had a conversation about this multiple times on this whole calorie counting. Calories are not what enhance our metabolism. It is the proper calories, because you can fit within the confinement of having only so many calories a day, but what kind of calories are they? And are they really enhancing your metabolic strength, or are they depleting it? That's where, the rubber hits the road. I didn't want to say any food similarities there, but actually calorie restriction can slow your metabolism down as the body starts to shift into this survival mode, and it will burn fewer calories. So, when you neglect the quality of calories, that plays a crucial role in your metabolic health.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. The quality of oil you put in your heating system, the quality of gas you put in your car, the quality of things that you put in is going to give you an output. And not all gas is the same.
Right. Exactly.
And and I loved it because that was first it was low fat, right? That was such a lie. And
Right.
then that caused so much damage to humans. And then wait, fat isn't bad for you. It's actually absolutely great for you, but the right kind, of course. And then it went to calories. And now you combine the bags that have only 150 calories. It's like, well, there you go, because I believe now calories in, calories out, good to go. I just got to restrict. I only have this many a day, even though they're muffins and cookies, but I'm counting them and I'm hitting that goal, but I'm not getting better. I don't feel better. And so I don't know it. I don't think that. I think people are waking up to, don't be putting that calorie thing on your bag, because if it's only 150 calories, well, I might as well not have one. If it's going to be 150 calories of toxic chemicals, because that's what ultra processed food is. Not even food. It's just made in a lab.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's just worth reiterating that if you're feeling overwhelmed and the thought of resetting your metabolism is overwhelming, well, just take it one element at a time. And as you document it, as you monitor it, as you measure it, now you have a history. You can actually zoom in on those products that aren't giving you the results that you want, and then you can zoom out and go, okay, what could I supplement for that? What could I bring in and take out? What could I substitute? That's the word that I was looking for. What could I substitute for this kind of food versus this kind of food? And is this kind of food actually food, or is it just something that my mouth chews up and my body tries to process, but it's not giving me the fuel that I want? And, as you talked about, not all fuels are the same. So if you put a low grade junk fuel into your vehicle, you're going to get a low grade junk response. And, this is a way that you can actually transform your energy, your outlook, and every person that is watching and those that even aren't, you can make this change. And if you can't do it on your own, which most of us can't, it's nice to have other people to do this along with, or to have a coach, or to have somebody to guide you, to give you some encouragement, and also soften that blow and say, hey, okay, so you did this, just never do that again, or minimize the amount of time that you did that. And it's just sticking, not trying to do the whole thing all at once, but doing element by element, building on success, and knowing where you're at all the time. And we talked about this before about, work-life balance, and it is an ebb and flow. And we're not always going to be in an environment where it is absolutely conducive. If you've ever gone to a seminar, or if you've ever gone on vacation, you may not have the facility that you do at home, or the controlled environment that you do. So give yourself that flexibility and go, okay, you know what? Because I did that, I'm going to look for, number one, the best foods that I can. But when I get back, I'm going to make sure that I'm not using that now as a new habit.
Habits creep up. Nobody intended to get themselves metabolically messed up.
Right.
Nobody was told. Nobody, we were never told that then the release of Lay's potato chips and different products. They're yummy, but they're horrific for you. And it's like Doritos. Oh my God. And it's like, but they're yummy, and I see everyone doing it with impunity. They're happy. They're high-fiving. They're drinking the sodas and the alcohol, and they're eating the wings, and they're happy. I want to be happy, and it's like, so I want that life. So let me do that. But that's not what the Creator created us to put in us. It's like every time you go fill your car, bring a quart of water and add that to the gas, and do that over time, and watch what starts to happen. Besides pinging and lack of acceleration and not idling, and just starting to slowly break down the powerhouse of that vehicle. And that's what's happening to us. Yeah. It's longer, but that's what's happening. It's breaking us down, but they make it look like it's a wonderful life. I think now, though, with things that have happened in our new administration, seem to be focused more on health, and we'll see. I think things are going to change, and I think some more awareness is really what needs to happen. Because I'm not a loser because I just went down a path, of what they are doing, as in the corporation I work with, the neighbors, and most people are living that life, but they're starting to have the effects. And and I see it all around me, and I saw it in my own life.
Yeah. And when you were talking, Charlie, about what appears that everybody is having a better life. Fast forward 10 years, and the people that I hung out with, it seemed like they were just as healthy as me, let's say 30 years ago. And fast forward 5 years, and I'd run into them, and it was like, what happened to you? And I didn't realize it then. All of this is basically new to me in the respect of understanding, even at a deeper level, what it means to have a fueled life. And a fueled life is when your energy supports your dreams, not just when your energy supports just the immediate day or just this decade, because the things that you were able to eat and do and partake in your 20s, your body starts to collect and starts to slow down on its ability to compensate for all the things that you're bringing into it. And this is where people in their 40s get sluggish, and they're like, man, it just seems like all of a sudden, and maybe this is why 40 is an age where, you get the black balloons and you're over the hill now. And I was just getting started at 40, and I want to say that I'm probably in better shape now metabolically than I've ever been in my life. And health-wise, posture-wise, just my ability to do the things now and have lean body fat and have a consistency day in and day out. It's not a high one day and a low the next day. And you can do this at any time. It really can be done. And here again, don't try to do it by yourself, because you're going to be in that guessing game. And find a nutritionalist, find somebody, because your health is the very most important thing that you have. I see so many people just existing and they're not living life. And that's what we were designed to do, is to have a fueled life and enjoy the little moments, because, hey, you don't want to be in that survival mode. You want to be in that thriving mode.
Yep.
And this is from the inside out.
Yep. Yeah. That's that's a great way to bring this down, bring this to a close, because get used to getting uncomfortable, because it won't stay that way. Yeah. But if you stay, if this makes sense, you're already uncomfortable, even though you're forming habits around that and you're hardwiring yourself that this is the way it is. And I got to deal with it. I mean, I got to accept the fact that I have pains, I don't sleep great, and I'm a sluggish. That's okay. It's my age. I'm getting older. Let me deal with it. Let me go to the medical model. Let me get a pill for that. Let me get something to help me sleep at night. Let me, and that's a path, and that's going to be the least amount of uncomfortable to solve. Well, not solve, to put Band-Aids over what's going on. But you really want to step into your greatness. So you know what's not on sale? Greatness, success, thriving. They're never on sale. No medical insurance company will give them to you. No doctor can give you those. The only one that could give you those is you. So how do we get those? Well, we got to step into uncomfort. We got to then, like Stanley was just saying, don't go at it alone. I don't think you can. And it doesn't mean, it means you need to talk about it, find accountability, find a good program, or design your own, but do research and then start looking at, okay, I'm uncomfortable today. And the uncomfort is because I'm changing. And my body and brain are saying, well, no, our comfort zone was over here. But I'm trying to pull away from that. And now I'm doubly as uncomfortable, but it gets better. One day at a time.
Exactly. So I want to give our listeners kind of a quick start. And I think that I mentioned this last week, but it's worth repeating. Begin your day with a glass of water to start your day. I had a conversation with a lady last week, and she was telling me that she just felt like she was drained every day. And I said, what I'd like you to do is give this a try and let me know what your response is. Start with your day with a glass of water before you drink your coffee, before you drink your tea. Start your day with a glass of water, room temperature, not cold. Don't throw ice in it. And throw a couple teaspoons of tablespoons of lemon. She did that. 3 days later, she sent me a message and she said, Stan, thank you so much, because this adding lemon water, she said, I'm energized like nothing before. And the residual pain that I've been having, it is very much minimized. That was her response. So add water to your day beginning. Replace one processed meal or snack with a whole food option. Okay. Instead of it coming in plastic, bring in some whole food. Just replace one and see what the changes are. Also, we've become so sedentary over the last 4 years, last 5 years, actually. And people are sitting so much more. Sitting is the new smoking. Incorporate 10 minutes of light movement, even if it's just around the house after your meal. And why? Because you actually help your body kickstart the processing that's going on. So don't eat and then go sit and watch, a Netflix binge or the news, because that's only going to stress you out. 10 minutes after your meal, it will really just boost your metabolism. And also set a consistent bedtime. This is going to improve your sleep and your metabolic repair. So don't do 8 o'clock one day and 11:30 p.m. the next day. Be consistent. Your body gets used to it. It's a habit that you create, and it becomes part of your lifestyle. And then the last thing I want to say is reduce your sugar intake by swapping sugary beverages for an herbal tea. Don't drink cold water with your meals because it solidifies the grease going in and it just makes it harder for your body to process. Opt for a hot tea or some infused water. Those are some simple things that you can implement into your daily routine and watch what changes, watch what takes place. So until we meet next week, I want to wish you an outstanding week. Stay warm. It's like 12 below here today. So we've got that cold winter Arctic blast like everybody's gotten. The temperature's going to go up. And let's not let our health be like the weather. Up one day, down the next day. Up one day, down the next day. Make it consistent. And until then, we'll see you then.
Bye-bye.